Welcome to 42 Shama Craft. Today we'll be making a nice turban using this material, this lace material. We are using net or veil, then Warden as well. So it's going to be V-band turban, V-band turban. So let's start. The measurement we are working on is 26 inches on edge circumference by 14 by 14, 26 inches by 14. This is the for the base. It's going to be lined with door face. I'm going to line it with door face. So 26 inches by 14, the same thing, the same measurement with the lining. Then for the band, it's going to be V-band shape. We have 15 inches by 4. This is 4 inches. 2 of it, 15 inches by 4. So it's going to be 2. You are going to fold it into 2. You can make use of your office pin. Fold it into 2. Fold it into 2. Then you place this on each other. So it's going to be this way, forming V shape. So you are going to sew. You are going to sew. Is either you start from here or you start from here, sew down, then come back from here again, sew, or you sew straight forward. Then what I will do, I'm going to make use of my office pin. I'm going to sew everything together. So I'm going to pin it down. So after notching the center, this is the center of it, I'm going to cut the veil the same size, the same measurement. I'm going to sew it together to the band. Afterward, I will sew it round with the lining, everything together. So, but the first thing I'm doing now, I want to sew it to the band. So I'm having 3 layers. You can have more than, you can have 2. It depends on how transparent you want it to be. So you can have it full. So can you see what I'm doing? I'm going to pin it down, then sew it down with the band. Make sure you pick everything, the base, the 3 lining plus the band. So I'm going to right side facing right side. So it's going to be in this form. Can you see? Then I will sew it down. I will sew it down. So this is the outcome of it. I've sewn the net to the band. Then at the same time, I put the first lining. This, you know, this is net. It's lace. It has holes. So I put the first lining to cover it up. So I'm going to put the second lining to cover the inside. So this will serve this way. So you can sew it round now. You can sew everything round. Do you get it? This way you can sew it round, because I'm still going to put lining. So the next thing is to put your wording. I'm going to put my wording, but before that time, this is the handle. I've sewn it and I've cut off the excess, then turn it inside out. So what I will do now is to fold it on the right side. Make sure it's equal. Fold it on the right side equal. Then you are going to place it. You have to sew the edge, or you fold the edge inside. You are going to sew it this way. You are going to sew it down. After sewing it down, you are going to turn it, then top stitch. Do you get it? Then the second one too, you are going to sew it You are going to sew the second one as well the same way. Do you understand? After that, you flip it this way. Then after that you flip it and top stitch. So for you to get where you are going to sew your warden, your handle, fold it into two. Measure. I'm working on 22 inches as hair circumference. So if you are working on 24 or 23, you divide it into two. You know I fold it into two now. So you are going to measure 11 inches. So on 10 inches, that is where you are going to sew your handle. On 10 inches, just chalk 10 inches on the right side. You are sewing it on the right side. So do you get it now? So what I'm going to do now is to put the wording. Measurement for the wording, you are not going to cut the same size, the same measurement. You are not going to cut, you are going to reduce the measurement of the wording so that it will be easy to sew at the edge. By the time you are running loose stitches, it will be easy to sew. It won't be too thick. Do you understand? So the measurement for the wording that I cut is 13 inches. 13 inches by 23.5. 13 inches by 23.5. So I'm going to place it this way. After placing it, I'm going to cut my lining. So this is going to serve as lining. So I'm going to sew it. So lining is going to be sewn in this. I'm going to sew lining first before I sew everything together with wording. So this is the way you are going to place your lining. You are going to place your lining, then you sew it straight down. This is the right side. Then you fold the band to give you the wrong side of the band. So you place your lining this way, then you sew it straight down. Sew it straight down. So the lining has been sewn to it. So it's going to be this way. Can you see it? So the wording will be here. So before I insert the wording, for it to be easy, I'm going to sew it round. Please be mindful of the net. Make sure you pick the 3 nets. It depends on the number of nets you are using. Make sure you pick everything. So don't let anyone be folded. So I'm going to sew it. So I'm going to sew it round. I will leave a space. I will leave at least 3 inches or 2.5 inches to insert my lining, and at the same time to turn it inside out. Lining is going to be this way. If you can tack it down, fine. So by the time I finish sewing it round, it's going to be this way. Do you understand? So I'm not going to sew my line and my wording to it. I will sew this first, then I will leave space to insert my wording. Do you get it? So let me sew it round. Leave 2 or 3 inches to turn it and to insert your wording. Okay, this is the outcome of it. The lining and the 2 lining has been sewn to it. So can you see how it looks like? Then this is the space that I'm going to use to turn it inside out, which I'm doing. I'm turning. Be careful, don't turn the line, the veil, the net. You are turning only this. So can you see it? Only this, not with veil or net. See the band outside. I did not sew on the band. You push the band inside. By the time you are sewing the lining, the inner lining, this is the inner lining, so the band is outside. So now I'm going to insert the wording to it now. and I will make sure it's lay flat. So this is how it's going to be. So the next thing is to fold this, the edge, the opening, fold it, then you sew it down. You sew it down. So afterward, you are going to fold it into two on the wrong side, on the wrong side. Fold it into two on the wrong side, then you sew it down. You know, remember we are putting handle, we are putting our handle, so don't forget to put the handle on 10 inches on fold, 10 inches on fold. So you are going to sew it. Before you sew, you leave 3 inches from the band. Measure 3 inches from the band. This is where I'm going to start my sewing. So I'm going to start my sewing from this 3 inches. I'm going to sew it down, then to this place. I will sew it from this 3 inches, sew it down to this place. So this is the outcome of it. So can you see the inside? This is the outer part, then this is the inside. So the next thing is to run loose stitches from here, from where you started your sewing. This is the outcome of it. You are going to run the loose stitches from the beginning to the end, to this sewn part. So we are through making it. Let's style it. You turn it, then we will style it. This is the outcome of it. If you don't want your own to be longer than this, you can reduce the length. You can reduce the length. Can you see it? This is the back. This is 42 Shama Craft 0813 97 844 67. Thank you for watching. See you in next tutorial.